Like my primary, coming to my skill set is like I have primary skills are like JavaScript, Angular,
Okay.
Node.js,
Okay.
basically JavaScript framework, and my secondary skills are HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, and Angular Material. I have worked for less than a year.
Okay. Okay. Good.
So, and also have a cloud experience, Azure cloud experience. One of my past project in LTTS, it was on a cloud-based work.
Okay. Okay.
So I was working as a project lead over in L&T Technology Services.
Okay. So overall 7 years experience, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So out of relevant experience in a mean stack is 5 years.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So shall we start like some
Sure.
Angular technical questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Fine.
Okay. So I directly move to Angular 8. Okay. So can you tell me what are the new features released Angular 8?
Like Angular 9 plus I have worked.
Okay.
Angular 8, like Angular 8 and 9, I'm sure they introduced in Angular 9. I know what are the features they included,
Okay.
but in Angular 8, like Ivy engine was introduced, but it was an like optional kind of thing.
Okay.
In Angular 8, actually, Angular 9 they made it as an like a built-in compiler for Ivy,
Okay.
but in Angular 8 it was an optional kind of thing. So that's the major release what they improved in Angular 8.
Okay.
And Angular 9, when compared to Angular 9, they introduced like an Ivy engine as a default compiler.
Okay.
And like other than that, Ivy like AOT, I think Angular 8 AOT also was introduced ahead of time compilation. AOT was actually AOT was an optional. Sorry, I'm not sure where AOT was an optional in Angular 8. Angular 9 they made it like we can make an optional, but it's a like default kind of opt-in for AOT in Angular 9.
Fine.
I'm not much sure about other things I hear.
Okay. So can you explain the different type of pipes?
Yeah, like in Angular, there are two types of pipes. One is pure pipes and impure pipes.
Okay.
So basically, like pure pipes in the sense like there are built-in pipes like a date pipe, currency pipe, like a lot of other pipes. Angular has a built-in pipes.
Okay.
So like impure, what is the difference between the pure and impure is like pure only means when there's a model change, the change detection will happen in the pure pipes. But in the impure pipe, for every keystroke and key events, the pipe will means that the change detection will happen. That is a basic like major difference when compared to pure and impure pipes in Angular. So basically, pipes we use in Angular is like transform from one form to another form of value.
Okay. Then how do you format date? It's
Yeah, like.
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead. I once after hear the question, I'll answer you.
Yeah. So how do you convert? For example, backend developers they are given timestamp. Then how do you convert like UTC format or a GMT format like that?
So, like if you want to convert for UTC and this conversion, there are two types of approach in Angular. We can go ahead.
Okay.
Like one is in the component level, we can import the pipe, a date pipe, and we can transform the value.
Okay.
And the second is like in HTML interpolation syntax, we can specify the pipe, and in the like what we say that line or line.
Okay.
So using one single line of we specify the date pipe and we can give a format of string like, and we can say UTC true or false,
Okay.
the boolean value.
Okay. So can we create custom pipes? Is it possible?
Yeah, we can create a custom pipes here.
Okay.
So if you want the custom pipes, basically it's an we can make it as an impure pipe, the custom pipes.
Okay.
By making at impure, we have to in that pipes we have to at pipes decorator we have to give the we have to make that option.
Okay.
Pure is pure false.
Okay. So what is the use of router outlet?
So router outlet, like it's basically when there is a page navigation, So it recognizes where it should which should bind the page actually, router outlet.
Okay.
Uh, uh, Router link is okay. Router outlet we give in HTML page, like we are specifying the Angular where it should render the page, the
Okay.
component, whichever we means path we defined in the Angular route. So it will recognize the path and it should to tell Angular where it should render the page. We use a router outlet.
Okay. Okay. So is it possible to use more than multiple router outlet?
Yeah, for within the model we can have a two router kind of application can have multiple routers.
Okay.
Like a we can have a root router, and we can on the module feature level also we can have an internal routing kind of thing. So we can have a multiple router outlet. So the internal we can like single page applications we usually go with this kind of approach.
Okay. Okay. So how do you make routing in using Anchor
Means
tag?
in the same page we cannot use a router outlet, only
Okay.
one router outlet.
Okay.
But in the in futures like modules we can have internal navigations we can use.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So
Sorry, I was saying something. I
no.
distracted actually.
Yeah. It's okay. No issue. Anyway, we move to next question. Okay. So how do you make routing using Anchor tag? So what is the syntax?
Router link we have to specify. Router link there we have to specify the path name.
Okay.
That is the so it will means when you specify router link, it will check in the routes whether it is registered or not. If it is registered, then page gets navigated.
Okay. Okay. So what's the difference navigate and navigate by URL?
Navigate in the sense whatever the routes we registered in the Angular routes router or module.
Okay.
So those paths we can means in navigate we can navigate to that particular components.
Okay.
Router by URL in the sense if we have a specified URL we have to navigate. We use a navigate by URL.
Okay. Okay. So what is the use of event emitter?
So event emitter, when there is like if you want to notify from child to parent, we use a event emitter actually for the at output. That's a parent between to make a relation between the parent and child to make it what we say means relation between the components like parents. If we parents want to get notify something when there is a click in the child component,
Okay.
we use event emitter to emit the event to the upwards.
Okay. So what is the use of annotation view child?
At view child, basically at view child, we use it for in the component level. When we specify at view child, we can invoke the child components also. Basically, at view child using at view child, and also we can means control the DOM element in the HTML in the component HTML at using at view child. No, actually I missed, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, at view child we used to invoke the child methods from the parent component,
Okay.
or else we can have a control over the DOM of that particular element in the HTML.
Okay. Okay. So observable. So can you difference between observable and promise? So what is the use?
The major difference between the observables and the promises are observables basically emits the multiple streams of data, basically stream of data,
Okay.
and which emits the multiple stream of data, observables.
Okay.
But promises will emit only the single data, not multiple data. So that is a major difference where we find the observable and promises. Second one is like a promise, once it invoked, we cannot cancel the promise.
Okay.
So observable, we can cancel it. Once we invoke also, we can cancel using the subscription. With the help of subscription, we can cancel it, the event, if after invoking also. That is the major difference between the promises and observables.
Okay. So what is the use of templates?
Uh, like templates, basically templates like what we can say. Means template in the sense whatever at component, whatever we specify that one.
Yeah. In the TS.
Template URL.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically template URL is like we are saying the component which page means what are the HTML it should bind with the component.
Okay.
Basically, we are tightly coupling the HTML and the component in the at component decorator.
Okay. So what is the use of shared module?
Like shared module, if in the application, if we want to reuse any particular components or directives inside the other feature modules,
Okay.
so we can keep a shared module in the route in a route module in the route module level. We can keep a shared module and we can import in the features module and we can reuse that component or component directives, whatever we want to share across the application. Instead of rewriting again in every module, we can keep a shared module and we can share between the modules and components.
Okay. So you are aware of material design, right? Then okay. So how do you create a tab?
Matt,
Yes, tab, material tab.
material.
Can you tab, tab?
Yeah, I know the tabs, but I'm not aware of
Okay.
right now I'm not able to remember the syntax of it. The material tabs. Basically, we go with the documentation, right? So I've used like that.
Okay.
Personally, like I'm not able to remember right now the syntax of it. Mat tab.
Okay. So
Means for the CSS, I have used the Bootstrap. I'm
Okay.
comfortable with the Bootstrap as well. You can.
Okay. So how do you create dialog box?
In Bootstrap or in
Bootstrap
Angular
or-
material, we have a mat dialog. In Angular material, we have a mat dialogs.
Okay.
So using that one, we can create a dialog based on the requirement user means UX requirement. We can have a mat dialog.
Okay. So Stepper. Are you aware of Stepper?
Means I have seen it documentation like say steppers. I have seen multiple articles on that one, but I didn't get a chance to work on that particular one.
Okay.
Steppers.
Okay. So what is providers?
So providers basically in Angular, we have a beautiful feature like dependency injections.
Okay.
So providers, whatever in the providers we declare, for example, the services whatever we register in the providers.
Okay.
So application will have the access to that particular services. So that instance will be provided in the whenever any components required any service, so it will look in injector like providers, whether its service is registered, it will provide that instance of it for the classes components.
Okay. So logical questions. Okay. So
Yes.
we have some users JSON object. Okay. So I want to get specific role based objects only. The final output is the specific role objects only I am required. Okay. So in the list have many role dependent list. So how do you filter that one? So for example, 100 users. So each user JSON object have username, role name, like username for Gautam, role name like technical manager or senior software engineer. So whatever role I want to get particular role based users only. So rest of them I want to remove. Then how do you achieve that logic?
Like JavaScript, you can loop the objects as well. Multiple means object power of loops also we can use here.
Okay.
If we need to use we can JSON array. If it is a JSON array,
Okay.
directly we can if array has a static method where condition.
Okay.
So basically using a where not a where find condition.
Okay.
So find condition. So using find condition, we can filter out. Filter condition.
Okay.
Array has like a static method of filter method. So using a filter method, in each object, I'll search for that role. If it is that role, whatever the role I'm looking, if that expression is evaluated, then it will return out all that elements, whichever that satisfies that condition of the role. So like if it is a JSON array, we can do it like that one.
Okay. Okay, fine. So can you explain what is that NG after view init and NG init? What is the difference?
NG init is like the whatever we declare inside the classes, like what are the variables we declare inside the class, it will get initialized over there.
Okay.
Initialize and what are the variables?
Gautam, your voice is low.
Now?
No, still low, very low.
Just a second.
No, Gautam. Still very low. Maybe your end or my end, I don't know.
It's audible now?
Now audible.
Oh.
Now audible.
Yeah. Okay. There was a connection, means that port or whatever I connected. So yeah, ng view, whatever the global variables we declare inside the class will get initialized over there.
Okay.
Angular will get initialized, everything.
Okay.
And in the after view init, whatever the child component we declared in the parent or anything, so that child component will get initialized in the ng view init. So until unless it won't get initialized, so it won't be accessible in ng view ng init.
Okay.
So if we want to like have a more control on the child elements, we control it in ng after view init only. So that using template reference variable, whatever we declare inside the HTML, so we'll have a control over there.
Okay. So how do you invoke backend services in your Angular application?
So yeah, Angular have a library, HTTP library.
Okay.
So using a HTTP library, means HTTP client library, I'll import in services. I'll import the HTTP client, and in the module, I'll import the HTTP client module. So then I can means call any external service using that HTTP. So in services using the HTTP get or post, whatever that URL is, we have to invoke. So based on that one, we'll use that HTTP verbs.
Okay. So more logical questions. Okay. So in the backend, they are given user list. Okay. User list objects. Okay. Earlier I asked you, right? Same thing. So same like we have user object. Each user object have username, role name, like that. So I want to specific only username appending with this one comma delimited string in single string. So I want to show the output for all username appending with comma.
Oh, okay.
So how do you write the logic?
Oh, need to write a logic.
Yes, yeah. In the UI itself, only in the client expecting to print the only username only. So no need to print all the objects. So using comma delimiter.
Oh, okay. I'll just. I'll go with the stack blitz or else.
Just syntax only enough, no issue. Don't write too many questions. Okay.
So yeah, syntax is like if I have a object like an array.
Yeah. Then you can iterate it. Then next, what you will do?
Yeah, I'll write. I'll just want to know the fine. Username plus.
Your voice is slow, Gautam. Again.
Oh, okay, it went down.
Now fine.
Now?
Now fine. Now fine.
Sorry, I have to hold it like this. Okay. Yeah. Username, comma, and then.
Yeah. Again, a username. Another user object. So.
Oh, you need multiple usernames.
Yes. That's what I'm explaining you, right?
Okay, you need only usernames.
Yeah, we have a number of users object. Okay, I want to fetch only particular fetch only for username, comma using comma delimited string.
Okay. So one is like we can use a map to get all the usernames, only usernames. Okay, for the
Okay.
Sorry. So here I can say x lambda arrow function x dot.
Okay, Gautam.
Username. Okay. So once I can make it as a two string, so it will be
Okay.
directly.
Okay.
Array. If you convert array to two string, so comma automatically appends for every after element.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So, can you tell me the syntax of ng-for?
Okay. ng-for. Oh, okay.
So, how to iterate in the UI itself?
Yeah. So, ng-for. Let item.
Okay. So we have a user list. Okay. So based on that, users weightage, users role based. I want to show in the UI itself like multiple color combination, like manager have red, then senior software is the green. Like that, I want to color combination. Then how do you achieve here?
Okay, so for example, if I say this div, I'm writing an ng-for.
Okay.
So, okay, so inside this, for any element, if I require x, for I say we'll have a div again.
Okay.
So this div I can using an in Angular we have a directive like a structural built-in directive where we can use ng class.
Okay.
So in ng class, this is the class name.
Okay.
And the colon here the expression.
Okay.
So based on the if user role, this particular user role, I can I can also have a class where we can have a base class.
Okay.
Font where generic CSS we can take base class.
Okay.
We can directly add it here.
Voice breaking. Okay, now fine.
Based on the expression, we can just add that color class to the existing base class so that colors will get override for that particular element.
Okay, fine. Okay, so how do you create custom pagination?
Means custom pagination.
Yeah, in the data table by default, it is have pagination like 110.
Correct. So like we can have a third party library here. We can have a pagination, like we have Angular material also have a mat pagination. So we can use a pagination also on the next and previous. We can we can load the more data.
Okay.
Manually, I have never implemented. Actually, I didn't get a chance to implement that one manually pagination.
Okay.
So I've used external libraries for the paginations,
Okay,
more of kind.
If you use the normal data table, it is obviously it is performance issue happen. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's why we client and they are expecting 10 records. Then so
Correct. Yeah. So in NG4 also we have a one pipe. We can use a limit pipe for 10 users.
Okay.
Like based on the virtual scroll, we can load more data on the virtual scroll.
Okay.
We can so that page will get render faster with 10 records first. Very first to initialize when page gets load.
Okay.
So next when scrolls to end or anything, we can like more data will gets into added like 10 records we can implement using a virtual scroll.
Okay. So in the TypeScript, okay. So what is the use of any type then when it is used?
Oh, okay. At the any type is like at the runtime, it will based on the value whatever we initialize that particular variable.
Okay.
So if it's an any type at the runtime compilation, it will only get assigned that particular. If you are giving a string value for that one, it will be a string variable.
Okay.
If you are giving a boolean, it will be boolean. So it will runtime only it will decide the type of that particular variable.
Okay.
So if we're not sure with the type, we can go ahead with the any.
Okay. So what is the use of type of operator?
Type of we usually use for to get to know the type of the object, why type of a variable or an object. Type of a variable. So if that variable is a type of a string or a number or an object, so in type of will give that particular one.
Okay.
Yeah. We have an instance of another one instead of type of. We have an instance of where we can get to know the type of a correct instance. What a particular that variable instance is. That also we have instance of.
Okay, fine. So, so what is the use of tsconfig.json? You aware of that?
So, yeah. tsconfig.json basically like we used to for example, in the Angular, we use a TypeScript more actually.
Okay.
So for TS lint configurations, like for compile and save, like editor, if we have any specific TypeScript rule, we have to apply it. We specify in the TS config.
Okay.
So we say this save or it should save on when we want to use an experimental decorators or anything. So we can. Basically, it's a TypeScript configuration on that particular project, whatever it should apply rules.
Okay. So, how do you check null in your application? So, any latest?
Yeah, using a null coalescing operator, we can using question mark also we can check.
Okay.
Or else you can also, if it is we are using in a if, you can use directly if, and we can check whether that particular variable it's defined or not. If it is if not, we can skip it. Like that also we have. Like if you want to access any variable, means for a safer side for a variable, if it is a null and if we are trying to access, then we get an error.
Okay.
So undefined. So that time we can use a null operator and we can reduce the issues, like we can catch over there. If it is undefined, we so basically this one will protect over there. That is where we can use a null coalescing operator. Or else we can use a type of also, which will give undefined when we say null.
Okay.
That time also we can skip that one. We can check the null checks over there.
Okay. So, so finally, the deployment environment, right? So, how do you build your application? So,
like in Angular JSON file, we specify whatever the build. If we want to optimize the build,
okay.
so we can basically the build configuration we specify in the Angular.json file.
Okay.
So if we want to do any optimized or some kind of we need to apply, we can have it in Angular JSON.
Okay.
Or if we use the task runners, we can use a gulp or grunt basically build.
Okay.
So in Angular JSON file, basically we say when it's trying to build where the output folder should means it should create,
Okay.
and whatever it should include and those things excluded, everything we can write it over there.
Okay. So once your application built, then what happened inside your projects? It is
In test file, like it will minified or whatever we specify the file, so it will be minified over there, and it will have a one whatever what we can say. It will like whatever we class files we were written, it will just compile it into. It will transpile actually, completely transpile into minified JavaScript, and so it cannot be understood by the normal users. So it will convert the syntax, everything, whatever we written over there. So JS file, minified JS files will be present over there.
Okay. So so when you start so new application, Angular application, so we don't have some like material or bootstrap, so how do you install that dependencies? Then any specific
So
command?
we can means to run the project or to load the application or anything.
Yeah, run the project only. So we want like material design. So if you create new application, we don't have anything, right? Like material or bootstrap, whatever it is, like charts related configuration, anything is not available. Then how do you uh, create that?
Packet.json.
Yeah.
NPM init. Using an NPM init, we can create a packet.json file.
Okay.
Like if we already have a packet.json file, we can just run a command, npm install command, and --- save. So when we give a save, it will save in the dependencies actually packages. So in Angular in packet.json file, we have to specify which and all dependencies it should require to run, or which are the dependencies, dev dependencies. So if we only require for the developers some kind of libraries, we can install it in a dev dependency, so that production build will be very less when compile it this thing. So we can there also we can reduce some of the packages, if unwanted package, instead of compiling. So yeah, basically we do like this.
Okay. So the application, for example, the application run on Angular 6, for example, consider, right? So the client expecting to merge into Angular 10 or 12 like that. So
Okay,
yeah. So how do you migrate that one? So what are the steps you follow?
Yeah, like before migrating the existing application, first we have to know whatever the packages we are using, and whatever the we have to create one self checklist. So before migrating, first we have to analyze the application, and then whatever the components whatever the libraries we have installed, whether it is compatible for an Angular 11, or it can be like we have to upgrade over the versions. So first there, and also in the UI, like if some of the packages are very tightly coupled with that particular versions, library versions, then we have to check. Like in Angular 11, there are some deprecation will be happened. Some of the methods, built-in methods. So we have to normally find it out. So one best way is like first we have to go through the Angular 11 technical documentation, migration documentation will be provided at an Angular website. So we have to refer over there, and then basically we have to do an impact analysis before doing that one. So then after everything means analyzed, and whatever the risk and dependencies we like gets resolved, then we can have a command, npm update command, so that we can means it will update to the latest Angular package.
Okay. Fine. So can you tell me some list of commands like ng new application creation, like command, right? So how do you create module, then component, then list out the commands?
Angular CLI have it has given a more flexibility to generate the components. Like I'll write it ng new app name, basically will create a template, Angular template, like a skeleton.
New application. Yes.
Yeah. So it will create a skeleton. So once if I want to install through the Angular CLI components or anything, so we don't need to manually go and register in the map module or anything. So it will only go into basically when we run Angular CLI. So ng generate component and the component name.
Okay.
So this is for component name.
Okay.
So for services, just instead of C, ng, generate services and service name.
Okay.
I want to create a module, ng, generate m, module and module name.
Okay.
So ng generate service and pipe also, pipe directives, everything we can create, ng generate directive name.
Okay.
So in the place of in the middle syntax, we can have a C, yes, component, service, module, directives, pipes.
Okay.
We can create all these things in the CLI using CLI.
Okay.
So itself only it will register in the based on the parent module, like wherever if you're generating in the future module and feature module, it will only, when we run this command, it will only install it in a feature module, like in the declarations.
Okay.
So whenever we generate over this.
Okay. One more questions. Okay. So can we use one component or one module component to another module component? Is it possible?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can means that hierarchy level, whatever we specify, that matters. Like for example, shared module only. If I want to reuse it and in any other modules, like feature modules, I can go it and do it in an import that particular shared module over there.
Okay.
So that that module can be imported, and whatever that module have like components, whatever things we can access directly.
Okay. Are you aware of latest version, some features you aware of?
Angular 11, I never checked. Means I didn't gone through the document. I'll check. Means I'm not really very sure what are the changes they had made.
But you said Angular 10, right?
Angular 9.
You 9. Okay. Sorry.
So because I was working in the last project was Angular 9 actually.
Okay.
Angular 8 I used in the previous project of that one.
Okay. Gautam. Okay. So, what's the difference between package.json and package lock.json? So, what's the difference?
So yeah, to like what we can say that Angular provides that feature, because what it does is like it will completely lock the versions of whatever we specify in the packet.json file.
Okay.
It will lock that file. So if anyone tries to install other version,
Okay.
so lock version, sometimes it will help there. So developers will be working on the versions, right? So whenever I do npm install, I can lock it to that particular version. So that versions only will be installed in the that particular the development machines.
Okay.
Or else it will try to upgrade it when we do an npm install. So there are like whatever we specify in the packet.json name, there are some symbols we have to give. For example, uppercase to say that. So this we will give basically when we are installing or update. So this package will get update to the next version, release build version.
Okay.
So if you are installing the similar patch versions, then this negate this particular symbol will use to install the so for example 1.0.1, 1.0.2 it should upgrade. So we can give this kind of, there are some symbols we have to specify when we are upgrading or anything. So it will helpful to us.
Okay.
And basically it will lock the version files. So it will prevent to means upgrading or anything unless explicitly we trigger that command, npm update command, force command.
Okay. Fine. So, what is the use of form control?
Yeah, form control is like basically when we are working with Angular forms, there are two types of forms. One is template driven forms and reactive forms.
Okay.
So form controls, so in template driven forms, form control means we don't have much flexibility over there in the form controls when it comes to template driven forms. But in a reactive form control, so in component level we'll have a more flexibility to play, means dynamic controlling of everything.
Okay.
So basically form control is like whatever say, like it creates a two-way binding between the whatever the component name we specify with the name tag in the HTML
Okay.
name. So that the name based on the it will means to convert this thing.
Okay.
Basically, in reactive forms, it will create a two-way binding automatically. In template-driven form, we have to specify HNG model.
Okay. Okay. So, so how do you handle error messages?
Like error messages, one we can have a try catch in the this thing.
Okay.
If you want to handle the errors in the application,
Okay.
so try catch is one, and another one is like we can have like if there is any one is a way is like try catch where we can handle the errors.
Okay. You know MAT error? Material error. Okay.
We were now to check the documentation.
Okay. Okay. So how did you validate, like for example username, like minimum some characters required, then how do you validate?
To validate those things, we can have a regex for that particular one. Like in HTML5, we have a pattern where we can specify if we are using a form control reactive forms. In the validators, we can have a custom validators, and we can specify this regex. So when there is an error in the form, if we are using a form control, then in the like that form dot it's a valid or not, that particular control dot valid or not. Based on that one, we can have a show and hide the error messages.
Okay, fine, perfect. Okay, Gautam. So I asked almost Angular related question. I missed something HTML and CSS, but I don't want like that. Okay, so everybody knows HTML, design, and CSS. So I want only the functionality questions only. Okay. Okay, Gautam. So thanks for your time. Okay, so I will update.
I should also thank you because you make yourself time because you will have busy schedules over there.
Yeah, Gautam. Yeah, very busy, tough time. Anyway.
Yeah, I understood because in the previous organization I was taking interview.
Okay.
Like I know, like we have to make some time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for your time and
yeah, good.
I have to improve myself in the any areas, so that it will help me to learn and also to like future as well.
Now you are good only, no issue. Okay, obviously you are good. Okay, so I will give feedback to Rajesh. Maybe he will contact with you. Okay, maybe today or tomorrow, maybe he will contact with you.
Okay, and this is for the specific project hiring, or it is like want to know that like. So with this, like other projects you are going to interview, like?
No, I'm only techie only, but I don't know. Maybe other team only asked to take TP2 round. So I don't know which project they are going to deploy. I don't know. Maybe any whatever projects. Okay, why you are worrying? Okay, you have knowledge then.
Because some people when PHRs call, no, they say they're hiring for a specific project.
Okay.
So that's why I just
maybe a lot of projects is there. Maybe they will be deployed by multiple projects. I don't know. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, nice to meeting you.
Yeah, bye.